So instead of trying to force a business, right, a tech business at that, and not knowing the technology I needed, right, my energy doesn't need to be going towards marketing a business that I don't have the tech or know-how for, right? My energy doesn't need to be in being upset with myself because I don't know these things. My energy needs to be in how can I know these things. You know what I'm saying?
I get you, yeah.
So it's just a matter of just taking the energy back and saying, okay, this needs to be recycled. Maybe it needs to be cleaned off. Maybe I need to admit to myself that I've gotten out the beaten path because I am looking at other people.
Hey y'all, Brittany here, and thank you for tuning into the Apprentice Podcast Season 3. We love to see it. And so this is the very first episode. I'm super excited for y'all to be a part. And I just want to start off this very first episode just to thank you all for listening and tuning in. I know there was a large delay between Season 2 and Season 3 of this podcast. I'll be honest, there's a little bit of imposter syndrome going on there. Like, ooh, am I actually qualified to do this? Are things going to be perfect? Which obviously not. I'm in grad school now. It's a whole new territory for me trying to do this while in school. And so balancing that is going to be interesting, and I'm excited for y'all to tune in anyway. And just to really listen to all these Black entrepreneurs, Black founders, Black innovators. I feel like coming to Chicago, I've been re-inspired to talk to more people, to interview more people, and just to really dive deep into their story. And so I'm excited for y'all to dive in with me. And yeah, so for this first episode, we are interviewing, silent drum roll, Alax Foreman. Now, Alax Foreman, she is someone that's truly awesome, y'all. Her motto is take community with you. She is currently the founder, she is currently the director of FoundersBoost, which is basically a pre-accelerator that helps prepare founders for going in before investors and getting that investment to fund their business. And she is also one of the leaders and founders, actually, of Chi Tech Collective. It's definitely Chi Tech Collective, so yeah. A organization all about promoting technology and capital within the African American community, basically amplifying Black inspiration, just like this podcast. And so I'm excited for y'all to hear from her. She's someone that's truly inspired me, and I actually interviewed her a while before even making this intro, but like I said, a little bit of imposter syndrome got in the way, but I think even watching it back, I feel remotivated just entering this new season, both for my life and for this podcast, and so I'm excited for y'all to tune in. So, all right, y'all. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, go ahead and leave 5 stars, please. Or if you don't want to leave 5 stars, hey, don't leave any stars at all. That'd be great. But I would love for y'all to comment and just let me know how y'all feel. And yeah, so anyway, I won't distract from the episode anymore. But I will see y'all later.
Hello, Brittany.
Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
That's good.
Yeah. I want to kind of get, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here in Chicago?
Yes, sure. Sorry about that.
You're good.
So right now, like you said, last fall I was the director of FoundersBoost Chicago, which is a pre-accelerator, a national or global pre-accelerator that's really headquartered in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they were here in Chicago for a few years before the pandemic, and then once the pandemic hit, they stopped, and then we tried to revamp it, revitalize it. But that's seasonal. So a lot of what I do here is really under Chi Tech Collective, which I have co-founded with 2 other folks, my partner Makunde and my partner Christina. And I'm originally from Chicago, Inglewood to be exact, and then Scottsdale. We moved to Scottsdale, which is close to Midway. And I've been back in Chicago since 2019, and I left in 2011.
Okay.
So I was in Dallas for about 8 or 9 years. And right now it's really just about, like you said, helping diverse founders connect with the folks they need to connect with so that they can at least try to see their dreams or their aspirations come to fruition.
Got you. That's nice. Awesome. Oh, excuse me. I do want to say, let's Chi Tech Collective. I know you said you founded it. You said how many years ago did you found?
So Chi Tech Collective is a baby. We founded Chi Tech in 2022.
Okay, snap.
Yeah.
What was it like, because that was your passion for Black businesses for a while, and just really diverse businesses in general. So, like, what made you turn, like, that passion to something that's, like, almost like an entity of its own, like a community of its own?
Yeah, I think it was, I had already been a founder or, tried my hand at starting companies. And a few times, most times actually, I was able to found a team, but I wasn't able to sustain the team.
Okay.
And people lose interest very quickly, right? And you find yourself understanding that as a founder, you could get a lot more done if you had other people, but that's a job in itself, is to get people on board. So I think it just was alignment. Mukunde and I met. It's funny because my sister would send me group me's, things that she thought I should connect in or be connected to. And she sent me the Chicago Tech Community group.
Yeah.
And I realized that he was the host of the group me, but I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And then I posted a VC brunch funded or sponsored by WeFunder, which is an equity crowdfunding platform based in the Bay Area too. And he showed up. He showed up late, but he showed up. He ate, and then he asked me for some money. Right? He was like, "Hey, I got this event I'm doing, and I just wanted to know if you would be okay with funding it or some of it." And I don't know. I just was like, "Yeah, let's talk." Because I've again been a founder, and I've been in that position where I need some money too.
Yeah.
And I have to ask people, kind of penny pinch here. Can I get 100? Can I get 300? So I didn't want to, if I could do that for somebody, I wanted to do that for him. And I really didn't expect him to give any money back. He said, "Oh, I'll pay you back, whatever we get from the event." And I'm like,
you're just like, we'll see.
We'll see. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But he gave me a little bit of money back, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, he might be onto something. I see that I can be a partner, or he might be interested in being a partner with me, because I just felt like he did what he said he was going to do. And at the end of the day, trust is very big in business. And I think people tend to forget that. Like, yes, there's numbers and money and, entities, but at the end of the day, it's all relationships. And we can say that we're not biased all we want, but we're biased. Yeah. And that's okay sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to just say, this is who we are, and that's what it is. Certain things you have no control over. I know I kind of went on a rant, but
no, you're good.
Yeah.
I do. So as far as like that trust aspect of things, I think is that something that you kind of carried into not only like who you choose now to work with, but also like the startups and the small businesses. You choose to work with. Is that like that's big?
I want to be robust in my answer, so
yeah, you're good.
But the answer is yes, right? But I feel like I don't show favoritism, but I'm a loyalist. Okay.
Can you expound on that a little bit?
Now, I want to use big words, but I'm not sure I know all the very sound meaning of loyalist. But what I get from it is that, or the way I'm using it, the operational definition for this podcast is that I have people I'm loyal to because they have shown me that either they believe in me, believe in what I do, or I can depend on them. Okay. Even outside of this monetary transaction.
Okay, I got you.
Right?
I got you.
So, I don't pick I just like that person for whatever, so I'm going to choose their business. No, it's an example. Some of our programming we wouldn't have if founders themselves didn't sponsor that programming.
Okay.
Right?
Chi Tech Collective.
Yeah. Chi Tech Collective. These are founders who are fundraising themselves. But because I have either pointed an opportunity to them or helped them secure something or share something with them that they were able to get something from, they were like, we're going to return a favor. Okay. And so that's what I mean by trust. Trust is in your action and your behaviors, It's not about they're just good people and I like them, so I guess I trust them. No, it's
Yeah.
like, besides our personalities and, whatever, I think if you're a founder, and I hate to say it like that because it sounds kind of smug, but the real knows the real. It's just like basketball players who hoop know basketball players who hoop.
Yeah.
Just like founders who really build businesses and this is their livelihood, they really understand the difference it makes.
Okay. That's really cool. So Try Check Collective is like community based and community built in that sense. And that's something that's interesting, I think, because I'm like, well, of course, I'm not a founder yet. I don't know. But, like, I think for me... Yeah,
The podcast is a...
Podcast? Oh, yeah, you're right. You could count that. Yeah, that's true. I think for me, I guess I've been, not cold, but, like, more, like, gullible, I feel like, in the past. As far as trusting people, I feel like kind of, like, just trust whoever as long as they're nice, So I think I haven't really, like... I think more and more now I'm like realizing that like trust needs to be backed by actions more. And I guess you kind of like explained it a little bit, but is that where where that point of realization came for you to be like, okay, this trust is more action based versus people that, like me, I like them versus like how did you make that distinction? Or when did you do that, I guess?
I think that that's just who I am, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that I know the best way to do everything. But I find it easier to know a person's character based off of their actions. And based off their actions and juxtaposing it or putting it up against their words. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know if I was telling you or somebody recently in romantic relationships, right? I'm not the best at those, but for me, if we talk and you say something to me or describe something or tell me something, right? Yeah. And then the action is followed up, but the action doesn't match those words that I know you said. Yeah. Am I really gonna trust you? Got you. Yeah. Am I going to want to do anything with you other than have fun, maybe? So that's what I mean by, business is really based off relationships. So if, it's so funny because I've been the person who's messed up, right? Like, I've, in some ways, like I've had some folks in the community who are like, hey, you never closed the loop. You said you wanted to do something with us, and then we never heard from you again. Yeah. And I think in those situations, yes, I'm at fault, but also, did I speak up for myself? Did I communicate clearly that, maybe from my end, I was just putting it your way. I was just shooting the shit. It wasn't because I really wanted to do it now, right? Or it could be that I got caught up, and I just forgot to tell you. Or it could be that I wanted to do it, had everything ready, and then at the last minute, people pulled out. Okay. But you had never said you were going to do it regardless, so I didn't feel like I needed to tell you that. Okay. So you know what I mean? Ways. So it's so many, and what makes a good relationship? Communication. So you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a lot of like, again, putting the words with the actions. Okay. Yeah. And building that trust and doing it over and over again so you can build rapport. Okay. Yeah. Repetition equals rapport, I guess. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And even like backing up a little bit, just being able to like develop how you see like businesses and startups in general, like developing that confidence for yourself when you as a director and as a founder and everything. How have you been able to like, or I guess have you been able to like empower like startups like who are just like, especially in that pre-seed phase that you kind of, you said pre-accelerator phase that you kind of target for FoundersBoost. And so people, like, I don't know, like what everybody's like situation is, but like they come in with these ideas but don't have full funding. How is it being able to empower them to go in front of people and just say like, I deserve funding for this idea? How do you empower people in that sense? That's sticky because I don't think people understand just how touchy people who are founders are. Because that's why I said the founders know the founders, because if you're really building a company, and what I mean by really building it is it's not just a matter of going to an accelerator, doing the programming, getting the logo. That is all building a company, right? But really building means you're passionate. Like, you spend your days, you almost are an expert in maybe this 1 to 5 things because you only consume this. People who have put their last $2 down, you know what I mean, who have sacrificed food or whatever you would be your needs for, because I want to get this website done, or I want, so it's hard to. It can be hard to talk to some, right, who are like that. It can be easy to talk to some. So as far as trying to empower them, it's kind of like just figuring out who they are and where they are in their founder's journey. Because some people you can't push too much.
Okay.
They're fragile because they want this so desperately to work.
Yeah.
But also, it's like you can see that it might not be very competitive. You can gauge. Let's not say you can see. Nobody can, but we can gauge that maybe it's not at a stage where it's, like I said, competitive, or that you can see it in this market that you're in or whatever. But it's not my job to tell you what you should do with your time. Okay. And if your dream can work or not. My job is to help you by making sure you are resourced to the fullest, right? Like, giving you everything I can get your way, whether that be human capital, connections. Like, I used to work at a post accelerator called Goody Nation, based out of Atlanta. And Joey is the founder, and his whole thing is relationships matter, and bridging relationships, the relationship gap. Because these aren't his words, but how I see that is 6 degrees of separation. Yeah. So if I don't know, I know somebody, or I know somebody who knows somebody who can help. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how I see it, like incremental assistance, right? Just trying to fill in the gaps where they are. And then you have people who are like, they're just so open to whatever advice because they so desperately want it to work that they're going to listen to you because they know that they don't know everything. Yeah. And they know that, hey, maybe you might get me closer. You might not know either, but you might say something that sparks or gets, you know what I mean? Yeah. So again, it's just a matter of like trying to assist them, and and the relationships like are capital too, right? Because people have money. Yeah. So the relationship can build, bring knowledge. It can bring monetary resources. It can bring opportunities. Resources like that. So I feel like I answered the.
No, you have an answer and more, which is good. Sorry. No, this is good. This is perfect. I think it kind of like, I know you said there's people that are open for like feedback and like, and as far as our next steps in pre-accelerator, but even like, I know you said people that are very touchy and everything. Do you see that? At least from my perspective, when you first said that, I think like, is it like almost like a negative thing because like you're kind of like very much in your own bubble, it sounds like, and don't want anybody else to infringe on that because you want to make sure that you're, or like, I could have heard wrong or misunderstood wrong, but just like you're in your own bubble and you want to make sure like things go the way that you want to go, and anyone that says anything critical about like your idea or your passion, it's kind of like, well, like, dismissed, and like it's gonna work out anywhere. It's gonna work anyway. Like, or do you see it as like? Cause I personally saw it as a negative, but do you see it as a negative or a positive or like a neutral?
I'm neutral on it because, hey, I've been in a position where it's not that I wasn't open. It was that I need to focus. Okay. I have too many people in my ear telling me that, different things. Yeah. And so I want to make sure that the decisions I'm making are based off of what I'm hearing, telling myself, and not others' thoughts. So, in that way, I don't fault anybody. And the other ways that I fault people are, if you are either very much in the early stages, or you have been doing this for quite some time and
Yeah.
you still are not seeing the results or product, who can you blame? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like one person has been spending all this time, so you would think that you got where you want to be if you knew everything. And the other person, you know, you don't know everything because you're very new to this.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I'm not gonna like scold you because that's how you want to handle it. I'm just not gonna deal with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. I think even with that, like, how did you, in that middle, it seemed like in between phase, like, distinguish which voices were good, which weren't, you know, to listen to? Because, yeah, some people like can give you advice with good intentions and all that. So it's like, how do you like, okay, thank you, but no thanks in a way.
I think for me, right, it's a quiet like thanks or no thanks.
Okay.
I'm gonna accept or nod my head at least to whatever you have to say, because you have a right to open your mouth and use your tongue and say whatever words you want to say, right? You don't necessarily have a right to tell me what to do or what not to do, right? And so to your point, it's like some people who have good intentions, it's just like, I forget what the saying is, but it's like, yeah, it's just like you might have good intentions, but it doesn't really, right? It doesn't really hold any weight.
Okay. Yeah.
What you're saying. So you just put it where it's supposed to be, you know? And I think that for me, I feel like it's going to be a lifelong battle because I wouldn't say I'm a sensitive person. I'm an emotional person.
Okay.
And I am, my countenance or my demeanor is because I'm trying to protect a softer part of me.
Yeah.
So knowing that, being self-aware, I can take certain people's, you know, because I'm not perfect, I can take certain situations and put them where they're supposed to be and be like, oh, I don't think that person meant it, you know, I shouldn't take that personally because I don't think they meant it in a harmful way.
I got you.
But then there's some people who are very sinister with how they speak and they kind of slide things in. And that's what I mean by you have to make sure you're not adopting what they're saying. Like, for example, I was at an event not too long ago, and I had made a comment that, you know, people, like somebody told me I had ADHD, right? Now, I don't know how they meant it, and I didn't feel like I had the rapport with this person to just come up to them and be like, so what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Without me getting a little irate too. So I had to just be like, okay, well, even if I feel like she meant it in a negative way, do I have ADHD? Shit, maybe. I don't know, but would that be a bad thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would it? So it's like, what do I do with that information? Do I get upset? Do I let it, you know, piss me off to the point where I do something crazy? No, it's just kind of like, okay, well, because I know that I'm not comfortable with that, and I'm also not comfortable being direct with this person.
Okay.
I don't have that many options. So it's like, just remove yourself from the situation or don't deal with that person, because there's enough people who want to assist you that you don't have to, there won't be any doubt.
Yeah.
You know?
Snap. Yeah, that takes a level of emotional intelligence. I feel like a lot of people are lacking nowadays, unfortunately. But and just like, fully knowing yourself, being self-aware. I think a lot of people say that they're self-aware, but a lot of people really aren't either as well. So that's interesting. But do also with going out and putting yourself out there. I know we've talked before, and you said like you're more like introverted and everything. So even like protecting that part of yourself, and also like going out, meeting people, meeting startups, networking, all that stuff. How has that been for you? How have you navigated that for yourself? Starting out, maybe even what changed since then till now?
Yeah. I would sum it up as, again, the founders know the founders. Like, when you really want something and you really want to see it happen quickly or whatever, I think there's just something that clicks and you're like, nobody's doing this for me. Like, ever.
Yeah.
Even if I have 20 employees, nobody's doing this for me.
Yeah, I get you.
So I have to be so aware of that and just drill that into my psyche that if I don't go out, this never happens. Nothing will ever happen. Because it really starts with me. That sounds so cliche, but it really starts with me. And once I started to realize that the fear was there, like people were like, "There's nothing to fear." It's like we have fear for a reason. I don't think that there's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
But once you grasp your fear onto something, you kind of like can rationalize it, I think, and you can coach yourself through it. It might still sting, it might still hurt a little bit, but you can get your way through it. So for me, I'm not a person who just puts all my business out there or just is always out. I have my close friends, whatever. But in business, people don't do business with people they think are weird.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, I get you, yeah.
So it's like I can't afford, I literally cannot afford to be awkward. Even if I'm socially awkward and I'm like a talkative butterfly who people just think is just, they're going to be more likely to want to connect or at least approach me than the person who hides in the corner and
don't do nothing.
You know what I mean? Acts like so standoffish and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's just people, and, you know, fortunately and unfortunately. So you have to, you know, I hate to say this because people are so sensitive, but you have to kind of manipulate the situation for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
how you see and perceive the situation. Like, are you without? Do they have the upper hand? Why would they have the upper hand? What do you think that they have that you don't have? Where you would have to be nervous around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you would have to shift around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, well, I think that's interesting because you're like, cause you always say like here, oh yeah, I have no fear and everything, just go for it. But I think it almost seems like you kind of take the fear in consideration to use that as a tool as far as moving forward in the next steps. Does that make sense?
I'm scared of everything.
Yeah, he's scared of everything. Yeah,
I'm scared of everything.
You're just like,
but I know that, so it's like, what am I gonna do about it?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, let's say. And hey, you're here, come this far. So it's like, oh, we can go some more. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I do want to ask, I know you have a motto. I looked on your LinkedIn. So looking at, and I know you said you have a motto. It's like, forgive me if I get it wrong, but it's like take community with you, essentially. Where did that come, or where did that start for you?
That started in 2022 when I was working at Goody Nation. And so I didn't want to be a community manager at all. I didn't even know what it was.
Okay.
I applied to be, I think, the operations manager and the investment manager.
Oh, okay. So different. Yeah, very different.
Right. Those are the jobs I wanted because I wanted to get in VC. And in a way, I still want to do VC. I don't know if I necessarily want to take the traditional route, but I see myself there.
Okay.
And I was met with a counter offer by Joey. And he was like, well, look, I got the investor relations manager to somebody else.
Okay.
I'm giving that to somebody else. So you could take this operations manager role. But if you take it, you have to be the community manager too. I was like, oh, okay.
All right.
And I had been unemployed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And off the founder's journey for maybe a year. And because I had just got fed up, I was like, maybe it's just not my time because it's been 7, years and I'm not seeing certain things. And so I was like, it's time to just, if I can't as a founder get to where I want to be, I can help other founders. So when I got the opportunity and he gave me the counter offer, I was like, all right, F it. I'll take him. So I did really well as a community manager. To the point where other founders who were building businesses and they had a, online community presence were saying, hey, do you want to be a community manager over here?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And because I was always researching and finding things and sharing them, I don't gatekeep. I don't see the point.
Yeah.
Because really, when you have an application and you have 30 applications that are out, you're not gonna get everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So Yeah, so I think people just saw that and were like, hey, you should come here. Or they start sending me things, right? That's another thing. No matter what I say, things are tried and true. You reap what you sow. And I know people kind of say that when it's always a negative situation, like you did something bad, you're going to reap what you sow. But if, again, getting into your mind and realizing, no, you reap what it is you sow. Whatever you put into the ground, whatever you put out into life, whatever works and actions you do, something is going to come back to you aligned with that action. You know what I mean? Or whatever you put out.
You're right.
So I put out resources. I was invited to events. I share with folks brunches and things that they should catch on to. They share with me opportunities and grants. You know what I mean? So that's why I say take community with you. Also because for Black founders, I think that they don't lean on their communities enough. Some things will evolve, but they will still be essentially the same.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like our iPhones. It's a phone that's turned into a computer. But it's still essentially a communication device, regardless of if you want to call it a phone or computer.
Yeah.
Black Americans, I can't speak for anyone else, but I would, if I can loosely speak for the diaspora, but I speak for Black Americans. Church has always been, a center of our lives. And it's also been a way to find money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Now, I'm not saying let's go to churches for startup help. I'm saying that we have always had a source in our community where if you're an activist, entertainer, you can find some money from your community. It won't be much, much in comparison to what maybe other founders of other cultures or whatever who have a different, path. But it's something. We got founders who come in just using their money. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, noble, but how far can you get with just your money? Just like how far can you get with just their money?
Yeah.
So, you ever heard of a friends and family round?
Friends and family round, you said? No, I haven't heard of that.
So there's different rounds in funding, different stages. And so there's a family and friends round, pre-seed, seed, etc. You usually can't get VC funding. There's all types of funding, alternative sources, whether it's non-dilutive, VC, revenue financing, whatever. But for the most part, companies get funding if they've already been able to produce, like generate revenue, or if they've already fundraised.
Okay.
So if you don't even have a family and friends round,
then what's the
it's going to be harder for you to fundraise.
Yeah.
Because one, you got to generate revenue. Do you have enough money to generate revenue? Right? To start the company, get the team, produce the product, and then get a return?
Yeah.
Are you there yet? Or do you have no traction? Right? Have you had enough marketing or whatever you've done, to get enough traction on your product to say this could be, lucrative in the end?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by taking community with you. Like, you gotta tap into the resources that your community has for you before you, just lift off.
Okay, got you. Okay, nice. Is it the startup last year? Was the first time you ever used the motto or made?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Kind of seems like it was like a culmination of just all your experience
wrapped
in one. Yeah, that's awesome.
Basically.
Yeah. I do want to ask about. I know you said before you started the community manager role, you were a year off of your previous startup. What was that like, having to let that go and then moving into like the next stage of your life, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I think it was hard.
Yeah.
I think it was difficult for me emotionally because it was also a matter of now growing up too,
Yeah.
like understanding maybe it's not your time, maybe it's not going to go the way you thought it was going to go, even though you don't think that you think it's going to go a certain way, you know what I mean? You're just doing it, but it's like you also wouldn't do it if you didn't think there was a chance, right?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a hard realization to come by.
yeah, and then it was also a situation where nobody was hiring me because I don't have my degree. I didn't finish undergrad. So I think that when you also have friends who have their degree, like one of my best friends is a doctor. Like he just finished. He's in residency,
Oh, wow.
basically. You know what I mean? The other one, when she left school, she went on to work for a telecommunications company, and she's doing pretty well. And she's in real estate now. So that was also eating up at me too, because I was looking around at everybody else. Right?
Yeah.
Looking around at everybody else was messing with me. Then it was like, this business will not. Nobody's gonna pay me. You know what I mean? So it was just very frustrating, and I had to quickly say like, okay, maybe if you stop, go back a few steps, you might actually end up faster. Because it was like I was trying to knock at a brick wall, just trying to eat at it with a spoon. You know what I mean? Hit it.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, I needed some momentum.
Yeah.
And I needed a bigger tool. And doing fellowships, working for a startup, gave me that. That was my tool. Like, people don't understand. If you get you a job with a startup, a lot of doors open for you because you can go the operator route. You can do project management for a company. You can work at innovation or venture like at accelerators or incubators.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities if you just get something under your belt. But that's what I was looking for. I was looking for somebody to give me a chance. But it kind of worked out weird. And I ended up at Goody Nation. And I think that's really what kicked me off and got me at this place in this moment of time. Yeah.
That's a lot of humility. It takes to take a step back and be able to be like, okay, like this, what I'm doing isn't working right now. And have you had to like help other startups or small businesses through that, or even like Black businesses?
Yeah, we have a lot of. We're a proud culture, and nobody wants to admit that they failed, even though it's like there's nothing wrong with failure. Right? There's nothing. Yeah. The only people it should matter to is you. Like, if you know that you didn't do what you're supposed to do and you failed, that's always going to eat at you because you know you didn't do what you're supposed to do. But other than that, again, that's why I said I was looking at other people, and that was wrong for me to do. Yeah. Because
comparing yourself.
You know what I mean? And I didn't think that I was comparing myself because I'm like, well, I'm not saying that I want to do what they do, but it was still, you're comparing your timelines. We're not doing the same thing, so it's not going to look the same in time. You know what I mean? And you think that you know that. Like, you think you're consciously aware of that, but unconsciously, I think our spirits or souls or whatever you want to call it, they kind of, depending on how it is. Mine is very, I desire.
Desire? You
know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah. Like, I can't think of the word, but... Like, I latch onto an idea and I get obsessive about it. Like, my desire is very strong or heavy. Yeah. So it gets me in trouble when it's like, I desire to do this. And I don't want anyone getting in my way, so I'm going to keep doing it. Even though the picture is telling me, maybe you shouldn't do this. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not about what you desire. It's about stepping back and saying, okay, this is what I want, but there are some gaps and spaces, so maybe I need to not desire right now, but focus, right? Not be so wanting, right? And say, okay, what do I actually have? Okay. Does that make sense?
I'm thinking like, I guess I want to ask you, like, what does that look like? We said focus. So it's like being like less emotionally led. It's like, I guess, can you expound on that?
Exactly. Okay. Not being as emotional about it. Not feeling like you have to be the one to dictate your timeline. Okay. Because it's weird. Because look, it's like if you have a spiritual basis or background, like if you're Christian, whatever. Yeah. I know me with a Baptist background, you hear, on God's timing, or may not come when you want him, but he's always around time. Yeah. And as a human being, it's like, well, can you come on?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you
speed up a little bit?
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying, like, I cannot dictate my time.
Okay.
But in a sense, when you realize that if you put those two things together, that you can't dictate your time, all in God's time, but also you reap what you sow, you get aligned. Because now it's instead of being so desirous, I'm just gonna say it. We're just gonna make up words.
Go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
It's okay. This ain't working. I want this, but this ain't working because it's not wanting me back. Right? It's actually hurting me when I really look at it.
Yeah.
What do I have currently, right, that I could use to get me there? Right? I'm a good person. I really passionately want to help people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if that's really the core of me, I need to let this go because this might not be the way I help people.
Yeah.
Right? It might be something else. And in doing so, I had to help myself because I realized I didn't know a lot. And that's why I wasn't working.
Okay.
It wasn't my timing and I didn't put in the work. I could only reap what I sowed. And I didn't sow in the right directions.
Oh,
you get what I'm saying?
You said sow in the right directions. Like, can you give an example?
So instead of trying to force a business, right, a tech business at that, and not knowing the technology I needed, right, my energy doesn't need to be going towards marketing a business that I don't have the tech or know-how for, right? My energy doesn't need to be in being upset with myself because I don't know these things. My energy needs to be in how can I know these things. You know what I'm saying?
I get you, yeah.
So it's just a matter of just taking the energy back and saying, okay, this needs to be recycled. And maybe it needs to be cleaned off. Maybe I need to admit to myself that I've gotten out the beaten path because I am looking at other people.
Yeah. And just
You
going
know what I mean?
straight up, yeah.
And now I'm wondering why the stuff not working in the timing that I think because it was never the right timing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I'm comparing. That makes sense?
No, that makes sense, yeah. Hopefully, I need to hear all this. This is like this is good for me today. I do just based off of like your experience now, like coming from that place. Good, you said it was Goody
Nation.
Goody Nation, going to Goody Nation and everything. Up until now, where do you like see yourself moving forward from here, from this point?
Yeah, I think I go in and out. Like how you said, needing to hear this now.
Yeah.
Because I feel that I'm at a place I didn't see myself in, but I'm comfortable in. And I think there's a lot of opportunities on the table. But again, timing, right? It has to be. I don't want to say I am kind of a perfectionist, and that's not good. But timing definitely kind of need to be perfect. Again, alignment. It's, yes, you have opportunities, but what is the window of opportunity? And which one should you prioritize? Should you prioritize the window of opportunity or should you prioritize your timeline? Getting it done in the timing that you need to get it done that would be to your liking.
Yeah.
That you can say, I'm proud of this, right? So right now for me, it's, I don't know if I want to be a small business owner and do my own project because I already have, Shot Tech Collective, whatever. I don't know if I want to build a fund because I know that there are folks like me or founders who need money.
Yeah.
And that is in itself is a business. I don't know if I want to remain just an economic development practitioner where I kind of do what I do now, bridge relationships for stakeholders and work on, local, government type projects. So, yeah, that's something I have to figure out. But right now it's like, why rush?
Rush yourself from like choosing
Yeah,
what to do. Yeah.
Because whatever I need to do, not to say that timing is just gonna make it happen, but I think I'll be clearer once I start to navigate in either direction. Right now, I'm not navigating in any direction. I just know that it's on the table.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think I tend to have personally, I tend to have sometimes the opposite type of mindset, which with so many things on the table, I feel rushed in figuring out which one to go with, and feeling like if I go down one path, it means others are kind of fully eliminated. Not fully, but just mostly eliminated. You know. How did you? I don't know if you started that way and have grown to where you are now, or have you always had this mindset of about whatever path you're gonna take, it's okay, you can go a little bit. If it doesn't work out, there's other paths you can take, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Heck no. I think that, I say heck no because I feel like this is very new for me. In a way, yeah. I think it's new for me. I think that I've always had a similar attitude, but not as wise or comfortable. But, and I was just telling my buddy this too. What I found in being a community manager and building online communities and building community offline too, is that a lot of folks have these major visions and ideas for their business. I was once like that too. And people kept telling me, you need to start small. You need to start small. And like I said, I was like, don't tell me that. That's because you don't see my vision. I can't start small. And this is how this has to be. And then when I see them now, after I've being in their shoes, I'm like, people were only trying to advise me the right way. I had to realize I was frustrated because I didn't know how to do it small. I had to admit to myself that maybe they're not wrong. Maybe I just took it the wrong way because I was not aware that I just didn't know how to do it small. And I didn't know how to admit that.
That's an interesting statement. You didn't know how to do it small. So it's your mind was in a different place than where your business was?
I think it's because, so I'll give you an example. My friend, she wants to do a wellness / boutique salon.
Oh yeah.
So, and I might be getting it wrong, but it's you can do hair, and have studios, but then also you can work out or do something, you know what I mean? Just a whole wellness studio for women or whatever. Nice. I could be doing it wrong. So, really good. But my whole thing was start small, because she was saying, well, I want to get this big building. I would need all this. And I said, when I see the founders who really make traction and get funding, they're doing one or two things, right? Think about Calendly. Calendly is nothing but a calendar. Yeah. It's a link. You know what I'm saying? It's a link, and you can make different meeting types, but it's a calendar. It's $1 billion valuated company.
Yeah, I didn't. Oof, yeah.
A billion, more than that, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I'm not gonna say all he did, because it's still some work to go behind that. But that's the company. That's the product. The calendar. Yeah. You want to finish that thought?
Oh no, I was just kind of oh wow, you're right. I just, the more I think about it, it's it is very simple, and it is I don't know. It is and it has become such a big. It had become a big business for something so small. And that's something that I feel because I'm in that base too sometimes, where I have all these big goals and try to go after them immediately without starting with what I already have. And it's something I'm currently working on right now, just in general with all the things. And sometimes that even stops me from going for the things for other ideas that I want to go for, just because I feel I can't meet the standard that I have in my mind. So that kind of stops me. I don't know if that's ever happened to you or not, or about this happened to you.
Definitely. Yeah. I think it's sometimes we call it imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like you feel I believe you have a vision that others don't have, or you have a vision that is similar to others for reasons to connect you to other people, right? Yeah. Or to make you an individual. So what my vision is may not be yours, right? And what I'm saying is that is for me to see through. But if it's so big and I know where I'm at, I could very well tend to self-sabotage myself or just be hesitant, right? Almost frozen when it comes to trying to attack whatever the problem is or issue is I need to face or complete to get to this, because I don't have the confidence that I'm the person to complete it. Or I'm the person or I have those skills at this moment to complete it.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So yeah, that happens to me all the time. But I've got into this groove where it's like, not you get what you get from me, but I'm gonna complete the application, even if I know I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Or it doesn't seem like I'm fit for this role. I'm gonna, to my best ability, advocate for myself. Right?
As you should, yeah.
If they ask me for a cover letter, I'm telling you everything I did.
And
see,
more.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And more. Whatever you got on there, I'm not word for word, but I'm gonna summarize it and say, okay, this was exactly like what I did here. You know, because it's bias. That's what I'm saying. Like bias, as much as we talk about how it is negative, because it can definitely be negative, right? We've seen bad from it. Sometimes it's good because you can have a situation where somebody knows that you don't know everything you need to know.
Yeah.
But and you've probably heard people, hiring managers, say this. But this person, I just knew that they would be a team player and they would work hard.
Yeah, right.
So it's not always about credentials. It's about me as a manager. Do I feel like I can work with you? Do I feel like if I ask you to do something, will you scoff at it, make it more difficult for me, or will you at least attempt to do it? Even if you got to ask, will you do what I need you to do? And will you be where I need you to be when I need you to be there?
Yeah.
That goes a long way. Now, obviously, that's not everybody's motto. That's not how everybody hires, da-da-da. But there are times where it has worked out for me, where I know I probably don't have a degree. I don't even have my undergrad. I'm in fellowships with people who have their MBAs.
So it's like, yeah.
So it's like, but I'm going to advocate for myself, and I'm going to do the work. Now, sometimes I don't always do the work. Let me not.
Okay, no, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
'Cause sometimes I'm tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But when I get into that groove, and I make you happy that you chose me, that you place your bet on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Again, trust.
Yeah, it's back full circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I know time is about up. So,
Yeah.
but I want to thank you. I feel like this is a good spot to end on. So I want to thank you for being here, being part of the podcast, and for speaking with me. This, like I said, I've already said this like 1,000 times, but this has definitely helped me a lot. This conversation, just personally and professionally, is the goal. But yeah, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name is Alax Foreman, and this is the Apprentice Podcast.